Yeah.
What's new in your world?
Well, let's see. I guess right now I'm sort of debating the number of bots on Twitter with Parag on Twitter. Currently, I'd like what I'm being told is that there's just no way to know the number of bots. It's like as unknowable as the human soul, basically.
So
you have no idea what level of witchcraft and alchemy is needed to determine this bot percentage.
have you determined?
I said, like, why not try calling people? But I haven't got a response. Like, have you tried calling people or something? Like maybe try that.
Answer? It's not a bot?
No, I don't know. But I think like that would be one of the things to do, to say, like, have you tried calling them, as opposed to like trying to read the tea leaves here? That's like impossible. Obviously you can have an account that looks exactly like a human account, or is being operated where one person is operating 1,000 accounts or something. But that person can only buy one toaster. They're not going to buy 1,000 toasters. So you care about like number of unique, real people that are on the system. It's extremely fundamental. And anyone who uses Twitter is well aware that the comment threads are full of spam, scam, and just a lot of fake accounts. So it seems beyond reasonable for Twitter to claim that the number of essentially the number of said another way, the number of real unique humans that you see making comments on a daily basis on Twitter is above 95%. That is what they're claiming. Does anyone have that experience? Exactly.
I mean,
really? Listen, like, there's a bridge I'd like to sell you. There you go. and also you can buy the Brooklyn Bridge.
What do you think it is?
What's the
If it's not 5%, what is it?
I think it's some number that is probably at least 4 or 5 times that number. I'd say if you did sort of the lowest estimate would be probably 20%. And this is a bunch of quite smart outside firms have done analysis of Twitter and looked at the sort of daily users, and their conclusion is also about 20%, but that's a lower bound. It's not an upper bound. Mm-hmm. If you look at, say, the most liked tweets on Twitter, so I have the honor of having the most liked tweet of any living human. This is thank you everyone for liking my tweet, including some of the bots out there, but that tweet is less than 5 million likes. It's like 4.7 or something like that, and that was where I tweeted about that next time buying Coca-Cola to put the cocaine back in. It's clearly something that the public really wants, and Coca-Cola Corporation should really think about going back to their roots. Some OG Coca-Cola. This I guess is the reason why our grandparents could sort of walk 20 miles in the snow. It's because they had Coca-Cola with cocaine. This is the real reason. So. Anyway, that is literally the most popular tweet of any living human. But Twitter says that the sort of monetizable daily active users is 217 million. So why would it be that the most popular tweet ever basically is only 2.5% of the entire user base? This seems a very, very low number. And the most popular tweets generally are clustered around that sort of 4 million like level. So it's like sort of call it like basically 2% or less than 2% of the daily active users. and technically monetizable daily active users is how Twitter refers to it. So it just seems, how is this possible? Surely there's something that maybe 10% of people would like, not merely 2%.
Well, actually, if you think about it, Elon, there's a corollary on YouTube. What's the total user base of YouTube, and what have the most popular videos gotten there?
Yes.
And I think there's 1 billion or 2, maybe 1 billion people using YouTube, and the most popular videos have tens of billions of views.
Yes.
So that might be instructive.
Exactly. That ratio makes a lot more sense. So something doesn't add up here. And my concern is not that, is it 5 or 7 or 8%, but is it potentially 80% or 90% bots?
Yeah.
Is it? I mean, I certainly know there's some real people on Twitter, but is it an order of magnitude? Is it 50% instead of 5%? And that's obviously an incredibly material number, especially since Twitter relies primarily on brand advertising as opposed to specific click-through advertising where you make a purchase. If you make a purchase, it doesn't really matter that much. But for brand advertising, which is really just awareness advertising, it matters if real humans are seeing that or not.
Yeah, and so I guess stepping back for a second, people are curious why you want to buy Twitter. Why is this so important to you? And then I guess, what are the chances you think the deal gets done at this point? So a two-parter. Why is it so important to you?
I mean, some of this I've articulated before, but I think there's a need for a public town square, digital town square that where people can debate issues of all kinds, including the most substantive issues. And in order for that to be the case, you have to have something that is as broadly inclusive as possible, that has as much of the people on the platform as possible, where it feels balanced from a political standpoint. It's not biased one way or the other, and where the system is transparent. This is why I think it's important to put the algorithm on GitHub and actually allow the public to see it and critique it and improve it. And if there are any manual changes, sort of shadow banning as it's called, or increasing or decreasing the prominence of a tweet, that's done manually, that should be noted, so you know what has happened. And it's not just, you're just where it is right now, where you don't know what the heck is going on. Why is one tweet doing well? Why is another tweet not? Is it the algorithm? Did someone manually intervene? Why are some accounts banned with no recourse, apparently? The reality is that Twitter at this point, has a very far left bias, and I would classify myself as a moderate, and neither Republican nor Democrat. And in fact, I have voted overwhelmingly for Democrats historically, overwhelmingly. Like I'm not sure. I might never have voted for a Republican, just to be clear.
Right.
Now this election, I would.
Well, David, you okay?
Keep going. He's fine. We're going to resuscitate him.
We're going to resuscitate David Sachs. I mean, let me ask you a personal
question. The point I'm trying to make is that this is not some sort of attempt to, it's not some right-wing takeover, as say people on the left may fear, but rather a moderate-wing takeover, and an attempt to ensure that people of all political beliefs feel welcome on a digital town square, and they can express their beliefs without fear of being banned or shadow banned. And that we obviously need to get rid of the bots and scams and trolls and people that are operating huge bot armies in an attempt to unduly influence the public opinion. So this is what I think it's very important that we have that. Like some of the smartest people in history have thought about it and said, like, free speech is important for a healthy democracy. It is important, and free speech only matters. Like say, when does free speech matter most? It's when it's someone you don't like saying something you don't like. Yeah. That's when it actually matters. So obviously, and it's pretty annoying when someone you don't like says something you don't like. That's bad, but it's actually a good sign of that you have free speech. I get trashed by the media all the time. It's fine. I don't care. Go do it twice as much. I couldn't care less. But it's indicative of the fact that even though I have like a lot of resources, I do not actually have the ability to stop the media from trashing me, and that's actually a good thing.
Yeah, I have to ask, with regard to this current administration, I know how hard you work on the car company, and then Biden, you've been a lifelong Democrat, you've donated to Obama and to everybody, probably never voted Republican, and yet, and the same is true for Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is, a Bernie Sanders supporter, and that the Democratic Party has been openly hostile to Joe Rogan, and Biden can't even say the word Tesla or invite you to the White House when they do an EV summit. I'm curious, just on a very personal basis, what does it feel like to have that experience where the party you supported won't even say the name of your company or invite you there? They should be celebrating the work you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels like this is not right. Like this is the issue here is that there's just the Democratic Party is overly controlled by the unions and by the trial lawyers, particularly the class action lawyers. And generally, if you'll see something that is not in the interest of the people, on the Democrat side, it's going to come because of the unions, which is just another form of monopoly, and the trial lawyers. That's where actions will be happening from the Democrat side. They're not in the interest of the people. And then, to be fair, on the Republican side, there's if you say like where there's something like not ideal happening, it's because of corporate evil and religious zealotry. That's generally where the bad things will be coming from on the Republican side, that are not representative of the people. So. In the case of Biden, he is simply too much captured by the unions, which was not the case with Obama. So in the case of Obama, you could have, he was sort of quite reasonable, and I think he took more of a view that, obviously you need to take the concerns of the unions into account, but there are bigger issues at stake, and unfortunately, Biden does not do that.
Elon, I have a Tesla question. I read today, it's incredible. There was a Bloomberg article that said the following. So the setup is this. It said, since you went public, Tesla's up 22,000%, 11 quarters of sequential profitability. So hitting on all cylinders. But the public analyst...
We had cylinders.
That's a car joke. That's a combustion.
Firing, we're stepping on the gas pedal, firing on all cylinders. Turbocharged.
But analysts, when they put out their projections, okay, it's one of the most enormous bans for any company in America. The price targets for Tesla, despite all of this success, some have it at 200, some have it at 600.